What is going on, YouTube? Today I'll be showing you a nice trick you can start using with your Python dictionaries, and this will be particularly useful to beginners who I think a lot of you guys do not know this trick. I did it when I was a beginner, and I found myself doing this somewhat of a mistake that I could have done better when working with a common situation we see with dictionaries. And that situation we see is that oftentimes we're working with simple dictionaries like this where we have a lot of keys and values, and we want to check first of all if a key exists, and if it does, we change that key value pair. If the key doesn't exist, what we do is we add a new key and we assign it a value. So you'll see this a lot in coding interviews, this sort of data structure here where we have these simple keys and some counters pertaining to the keys. In this example, what we're working with is that we have some presidential election going on, so some hypothetical situation where presidents can be voted on, and then once they're voted on, if they exist in the race, they get an increment to their vote. So as you could see here, they get +1 to the vote. Otherwise, we just simply add them to the race and include their vote as 1. So as you can see with this key here, if foo is not in the presidential votes, if we go ahead and run this program, we'll see that foo enters the race with a vote of 1. So we checked if foo exists in the presidential votes, and then we confirmed that foo didn't, and then it was assigned a key value as foo and then 1. So this is a really common situation. Now let's say in this situation we have Joe Schmo. So we know Joe Schmo exists in this presidential votes. Somebody already voted on him with 1 vote. So he might win, who knows. But in this situation, what we're checking is if key in presidential votes, so we're actually accessing the dictionary once there. And on line 12, what we do is we confirm he is in the race, so we say already running, and then we go get his number of votes, which in this situation is 1, so we access the dictionary again. And finally, what we do here is that we assign the value votes +1. So in total, we're actually doing 3 operations, and this is typically what the beginner in Python would do in this situation. And I used to do that as well, but you can actually do a little better. So as opposed to doing these three methods where you're accessing, and then assigning, you can actually reduce the number of operations you're doing in this situation. So I can just copy this here, and as opposed to saying if key in presidential votes, we don't actually have to do that. We can just say try, okay? We can just try, and then we could just say except key error. And always be specific on your accepts. Never have a generic accept. That can be very dangerous, especially when you're working with real code at a job. So now we're doing the exact same thing here, but instead of accessing the dictionary and checking if that key exists, what we're going to do is we're going to try it anyways. So if that key doesn't exist, we're going to get a key error anyways. So Python's going to throw us a specific key error. Let's say it was foo. We know that we're going to get a key error in that situation, and then we're going to get print added to race. And then once again, we're going to assign that president the new votes. So as opposed to the first situation, we did a little better there by, as opposed to accessing twice, we accessed once and we assigned once. So 3 operations here, 2 operations here. But I just think the try and accept is a little unclean, and we want to try to avoid that. So thankfully, the Python community once again realized that this situation is very common and we can do a little better with try and accept. So they actually built a specific method that does this try and accept in 1 line of code. So we can do even better than this with cleaner code by saying presidential votes.get. So this is a built-in method. You don't have to import anything. We can check for the key, and then if the key doesn't exist, we assign the automatic value to 0. So we'll say votes equals this, okay? And then we'll just, once again, increment that president by 1. So this and this are exactly the same in that they access the dictionary once and they assign once, but as you can see, this is much cleaner. So slowly here, we improved what we did from the beginning. So at the beginning, we had this if-else, more code, and we did 2 accesses of the dictionary. Accesses, I don't know if that's the plural for that, but you get what I'm saying again. And then we assigned. In this situation, we reduced it, but we had slightly messier code with the try and accept there. And then once again, finally, to sum it all up, you can do the same thing we tried to do in this common situation, by just using this built-in get method. And if the key doesn't exist, what we say votes is equal to 0, and then we assign that new president equal to 0 plus 1 as 1 vote, and he enters the race, or she enters the race. So just try to use this when you're working with situations where you're looking for a key in a simple dictionary like this, and you're trying to increment some values, and you're not entirely sure if the key exists. And you'll find yourself thanking yourself later on for using much simpler code, can save you time in coding interviews, and can even impress the interviewer. So I hope that helped, especially the new beginners. If it did, please like, comment, subscribe. Let me know what you want to see in the comment section below. As always, thanks for watching, guys, and take it easy.